Good Garvey Day, brothers and sisters. It's an honor to be here with you. I've been coming to New York City. This is now my 11th year. Some of y'all know October 30th was the birth of it all. I had to come here today because we're living at a time where we have a lot of people who act like they care, but we don't have enough who authentically show that they do. Dr. Khalid Abdul was the last of a dying breed. When I think of that man, so many different principles that we should live by as African people are immediately brought to mind. The first of those, and these are in no particular order. When I think of Dr. Khalid, I think of work instead of words. That is very important in these days and times because we're living in an era of social media where Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and TikTok has taken the place of grassroots organization, of meeting, of organizing, of strategizing, and of the endangered species of the door-to-door campaign, which seems to be the prerogative exclusively of the Jehovah's Witnesses today, when that was once upon a time the prerogative of the Black consciousness movement. We have given up the booths for laptops. We have given up the meetings for memes. Zoom. That's right. Brothers and sisters, we will not liberate our people, as Dr. Khalid showed us. We will not liberate our people on social media. Right. We don't even own the engines that we use. Dr. Khalid exemplified more than anyone in recent modern history the need to get out and touch and meet your people and interact with them. I don't have a YouTube page. Some of y'all don't know that because I'm probably the biggest name on YouTube and I don't have a page. Because there's no need for a page because there's so much work that got to be done in the street. How do I have time to sit around making videos? It doesn't make sense, brothers and sisters. We're losing. And part of the reason we're losing is because we've grown politically lazy. Let's be honest. Yes. You'll hustle for your business. You'll hustle for your family. You'll hustle for yourself. But you don't hustle for the people. I started the new year in Buffalo and Rochester. And someone made the comment that Dr. Umar, you're one of the only scholars we see come to the small places. Can you explain why you're one of the few who will go to the small places? Everybody else only know the big cities. Everybody love New York and D.C., L.A., Houston, Atlanta, Chicago, and Detroit. Why they don't come to us? I said, to be honest with you, brothers and sisters, because there's not enough money in it. A lot of folks don't go to the small places because they judge how much they can make by selling their merchandise. It's not about the movement. It's about money. It ain't about the consciousness. It's about capitalism. It's no longer about the struggle. It's about the hustle. We have sold our souls to the devil. We have out-European the European. And sometimes we think that if we look black enough, those of us who don't think will mistake us for a conscious African. I know a Halloween costume when I see one. When I think of Dr. Khalid Abdul, I think of a man who took his manhood extremely seriously. Dr. Khalid was serious about being a black man. Some of us are serious about work, serious about school, serious about our goals, but how many of us are serious about being black men? Dr. Khalid took it to heart. For Dr. Khalid, he understood that the defense of the black woman and child and the elder was a significant part of the description of what a black man is. Not how much knowledge you got, how many times you've been to Kemet, but when's the last time you stood up for a black woman? When's the last time you stood up for a black child? When's the last time you stood up for a black elder? That's what Dr. Khalid Abdul means to me. We can talk it all day, brothers and sisters, but if Dr. Khalid was here, I don't know if Michael Brown would not be. If Dr. Khalid was here, I don't know if Eric Garner would not be. If Dr. Khalid was here, I don't know if Breonna Taylor would not be. Because if he could help it, he would show up and show out for his people. Dr. Khalid was not afraid to let it be known that he was unapologetically African even before Dr. Umar coined the term. Brothers and sisters, there's a lot we can learn from that man. College educated at the highest level, but yet gave his people his best. Died with his boots on. Never evolving out of the struggle, but only evolving into a deeper level of commitment to it. Because some of us with our college degrees, sometimes we start falling in love with them degrees so much that they take us away from black folks. At the end of the day, what needs to be done for us don't require no white man's education. And the more of it you get, as Dr. Carter G. Woodson taught us, the more of it you get, the worse off you are as a contributor to the liberation struggle. And let us be honest, you can count on one hand how many scholars were actually grassroots organizers. Most of them are too bougie to come into the ghetto.
Whiter than the white.
They want to give instructions, but they don't want to carry out the labor. They want to tell you the solution, but they don't want to participate in the enactment of it. Brothers and sisters, I was on Fox Soul last night. We were talking about child support. And there wasn't enough time for us to conversate totally, but one of the points I was trying to drive home about the child support movement last night was that the federal government gave us the first child support law on the federal level in 1975. That was not a coincidence that we got it 7 years after they killed Dr. King. It was because after they stripped the black community of the industries and institutions and factories that employed our grandparents, when they decided to create modern poverty, they started the child support movement in order to prepare for the mass incarceration movement. Child support was never about helping our sisters care for their kids. The white man don't give a damn about us and our children. Child support was about filling up prisons with black men, and what better way to do it after cracking guns than to criminalize childbirth and weaponize black manhood. And then Bill Clinton comes along in 1994 with his crime bill. And while everybody's worried about 3 strikes and you out, which puts more black people behind bars than any Republican ever, 2 years later, 1996, Bill Clinton comes out with the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunities Act, which kicked millions of black women off welfare. Limited your welfare benefits for 5 years, and even if you got welfare, you had to work to get the check because white folks were saying black women was on welfare because they was too lazy to work. That welfare wage ain't nothing to live off. Ain't no black woman getting rich off no food stamps and WIC. But that's the image and the narrative that they created, but they wasn't done because 2 more years later, in 1998, slick Billy Clinton came back with another law. This one was called the Deadbeat Parents Punishment Act. And under the Deadbeat Parents Punishment Act of William Jefferson Clinton, we would see more black men go to prison for not being able to pay child support. Listen to me, black women. You can't raise children without money. Yes, I have no problem with a brother being financially accountable to you. Yes, Dr. Umar can pay his child support because he got 6 degrees. But Mike, and Tay with 2 felonies, a GED, can't find no job, living off $10,000 a year before taxes. How in the hell is he going to meet his child support obligation every month? I'm saying we're recriminalizing black men who have already been criminalized by the power structure. And then when they go to jail, they lose their license. So wait a minute, judge. This brother just got a job. You're going to lock him up, which means he's going to lose the job he just got to pay the child support. And then you're going to take his license so he can't get to work. And then while he's in jail, the child support keep on adding up. When he come out, he owe more than what he owed when he went in. Brothers and sisters, the child support system is not about helping our kids or our mothers. It's about taking black men out the family. And now it's created this whole thing where black men don't trust black women and black women don't trust black men. And the child support institution ain't the problem. It's us. Because I'm trying to figure out why black folks is going back to the same man you fought to get away from and ask him to navigate your family dynamics. A black man ain't got no business asking white folks to come into his home. Black woman ain't got no business asking white folks to come into his home. I'm saying we got to do better together, brothers and sisters, because until we get the white man out of our house, we won't have a home. The other day, the Capitol building got overran with crackers. And after watching it, brothers and sisters, I totally believe that it was an inside job. Fact. Riding up to New York from Philadelphia today, I got a CNN news flash that said the FBI warned the government that it was going to happen a week ago. So here we go again, 9/11. So you knew they were coming, and you let them come. And I believe part of the reason they did that, brothers and sisters, is that was a test run to see how the nation would react under martial law. It was also a setup for a setback, so in case the white folks end up running into the black community, the government can act like they wasn't able to control it because after all, we couldn't keep them out the Capitol building. And now they're saying this weekend is supposed to be a white supremacy weekend all over America. The white racist groups and white knights groups are supposed to be going out to attack black folks. So make sure y'all careful this weekend. Make sure you're not sending your children out alone. The most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, echoed by Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, said we must be prepared. What are black people prepared for in New York City? Party. We ain't prepared for our children's future. We ain't prepared with no institutions of our own. It's a shame that last year we spent $761 million on beef, pork, and chicken. And you ain't got no hospital that you can call your own in Brooklyn. It bothers me that we spend $4 million on children's cologne a year. Black men, $60 million a year on bathroom toiletries for black men. But we have so few independent schools. $250 million a year on kitchen seasonings. That's how important seasoning is to us. We spend $250 million a year just to season up the food, brothers and sisters.
Don't forget PlayStation.
But do we have a, well, I think we have one. How many black-owned banks in New York City? It's just one, right? I'm familiar with that one. Maybe one. And if we look closer at the people involved, I don't even know if we would call it black. Not saying that specifically about New York, but as I study black banks around the country, a lot of those who own the banks are not opening up banks to build black power. Because we know that you got to organize the black dollar in order to have black power. There ain't no black power without the black dollar, brothers and sisters. We keep trying to find a way around sacrificing financially for our liberation. We keep looking for an excuse not to use our money to build power. Negroes said, Doc, we need our reparations.
Like, wow, you ain't gonna get it.
Well, guess what? I don't want you to get your reparations, not this generation. If we took a vote today, do we give the reparations out now? Hold it for future generations because these Negroes are crazy.
Goes back to them.
You get reparations and you have no infrastructure to trap the black dollar in. No hospitals, no banks, no factories, no distribution networks, no hotels. You have no way to trap the black dollar. It goes back to your enemy overnight.
Plus interest.
And Black, the Korean and the Chinese will probably give you the attorneys to fight for your reparations because they know how much money they're going to make off fake hair and automobiles. Yes, we entitled to reparations. We deserve it.
That's right.
Marcus Garvey is the father of modern reparations activism. But in your current psychological and economically disorganized state, you would betray the whole reparations if you got it. But I will tell you this. I take issue with the way reparations is going. First of all, I ain't seen none of the lawyers who fighting for reparations for me. You got to show me who y'all put up in front to do the bidding and negotiate. Are these black men with black women or these black men with white women at home? Who you got arguing reparations for black America? And are they doing it pro bono? Because no Negro should be getting a cut out of the settlement for our ancestors' unpaid labor. Ashe?
Ashe.
Hey!
In addition to that, when we talk about reparations, brothers and sisters, why do I hear so little attention paid to the psychological cost of the mouth? I keep hearing about the unpaid labor. That's not the biggest piece. The biggest piece is the psychological damage done to Africans that still has not been corrected to this day. The reason the black man is in love with a woman who don't look like him has to do with the ma'afa.
Yes, we do.
The reason we scared to speak truth to white power is because of the ma'afa. The reason a lot of our women are not comfortable wearing their natural given hair is because of the ma'afa. The reason our black professionals move into a white neighborhood the minute they get a degree and a job is because of the ma'afa. They owe us more for what they did to the brain than for what you did out in the cotton field. Also, when we talk about reparations, we have to talk about all the land that was stolen from our ancestors under gunpoint between the end of slavery and to the assassination of Malcolm X. From 1865 to 1965, hundreds of thousands of acres were stolen from our grandparents in the South. Crackers would roll up on them and say, you got 48 hours to get out of town, 24 hours to get out of town. I'll blow your brains out if you don't sign that deed over to me. They robbed us. So when we talk about property-less black people, we got to understand that we're not property-less. We just have to do the research to go back and get what's ours. Sankofa, go back and fetch it. We need research teams to research all the land that was stolen illegally from our ancestors and bring it on back home. That's part of the reparations package. The other thing I don't hear discussed enough when we talk about reparations is the damage that has been done to us since the 13th Amendment. So do you mean to tell me we're going to charge the devil for 243 years, but we're going to let him slide for the last 155?
Hell no!
All these Africans being murdered by police? No! There has to be compensation for that. Miseducation of black boys, 1 out of every 2 being evaluated for special ed and put on dope. There got to be compensation for that. Black women having the highest infant mortality rate in the modern world, where she's been having babies for millions of years, but now since the white man is delivering the babies, they can't keep them alive long enough. Compensation is due for that. I can't believe we don't have hospitals if for no other reason than to bring our own children into the world. Isn't it a damn shame that the first thing a black child sees when he comes into this world is the blue eyes of his oppressor? The first thing he sees come right down the ladder from heaven into the hell of hell. And we wonder why they scream when they get here. Got to get smacked on the backside by a devil. The devil gets you and gives you to your mother. As far as I'm concerned, that's symbolic of slavery. I'm going to touch the black baby and I'm going to give the baby to the mother to let y'all know this is my property still 154 years later. When we talk about reparations, brothers and sisters, we also have to talk about taking back some things that we gave to America that has made America rich, and we need to reclaim them as our own property. One of them is black music. Brothers and sisters, black music is America's second largest export industry. This country makes more money off your voice than almost anything else it sells. If we were able to reclaim the rights to black music from Michael Jackson to Sam Cooke to Prince to Whitney, all of them, Little Richard, if we could only own our music, we would be able to rebuild ourselves without nothing else. We gotta get black music back. And after we get black music back, we gotta get black inventions back. We invented the cell phone. You can't make them no more unless you pay us. We invented the helicopter. Can't fly it no more unless you pay us. We invented the internet. Can't use it no more unless you pay us. We get our music and our inventions back, brothers and sisters. We rock and rolling. But I don't hear nobody talking about this at the reparations table. I keep hearing Negroes talk about a cash settlement. What the hell is a cash settlement going to do? The dollar doesn't have a mineral value, brothers and sisters.
That's right.
You can't cash it in for gold or copper or manganese or diamonds. It's a promissory note, and you know how well the white man keeps his promises to black folks. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you that money should not even be on the reparations demand list. Because it's a trap. It's a trap. How is it your reparations if it's in the white man's bank? It's a trap.
With the white man's face on it.
With his face on
With
it.
the white man's face on it.
Brothers and sisters, money should not be on the list. We don't want money because it doesn't have any value. Our ancestors' labor is worth too much for us to exchange it for a white man's promise to pay. We want resources. Speaking of resources, brothers and sisters, 58% of black people in America are congregated within 10 states. Those 10 states include such places as Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, Texas, New Jersey, Illinois, California, and every one of the 10 states that represent 58% of all blacks in America are connected to land. Water. They are seaboarding states. So the way I see it in my reparations argument, since we dominate in those 10 states, we should own the largest port in those 10 states. So anything that comes into the state of Florida, the state of New Jersey, we got to get paid for that. Anything that goes out, we got to get paid for that. And one of the benefits of owning the port is not just to get paid for everything that comes in and goes out. You know everything that's coming in and going out. In addition to that, America has some natural resources, brothers and sisters, that she makes a lot of money off around the world. They include oil, gas, gold, renewable energy, bottled water. There's about 10 natural resources America's known for around the world. So guess what? Black folk get 50% of all revenue on them forever. Brothers and sisters, with my reparations package, we'll never ever have to go crawling back to the white man because we will own a piece of his infrastructure. We will own a piece of his wealth. We don't want none of his damn money. Our brother Bob Johnson, who sold BET to the Devils in 2000 for $2 billion. He sold BET because he wanted to get into travel business because he saw how much money black people were wasting in the travel business because you like to party. That's your problem. Everything's a damn party. You go into the barbershop, it's 50 flyers for a party, only one for consciousness. You go into the hair salon, 200 flyers for a party, only one for consciousness. We want to party ourselves into extermination. That's right. Party, 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 brothers and sisters. We got to grow up. We can't be children forever. I'm not a Christian, but in the Bible it says when I was a child, I spake as a child. I acted as a child. But when I became a man, I put away all childish ways. We haven't done that yet. We want to edutain ourselves out of oppression. That's what we want to do. You want to edutate, you in the edutainment movement. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. I notice when I go live, right? I have thousands of viewers, but let me start cracking some damn jokes. I get 1,030,000 seconds. That's how much Negroes want to be entertained. But I was sitting backstage waiting to come talk to y'all today. I learned that Snoop Doggy Dogg posted a TikTok video of me today. I didn't know Snoop knew the Prince of Pan-Africanism. But I'm glad he does. Now, we ain't clapping yet till we get a damn FDMG donation check from him. But the video that Snoop Dogg posted, and I'm not knocking Snoop because I need a donation. But the video that Snoop posted was a TikTok video that somebody made of a white girl and they made it so it looked like I'm looking at the white girl and I'm second guessing whether I want to suffer the snow bunny crisis. Right? And I'm saying to myself, with all the content that Dr. Umar has in the YouTube universe, with all the content that I have out there for you to post, Snoop Dogg don't post the lectures on special ed or ADHD or Pan-Africanism or loving a black woman. He posts a video of me imaginarily looking at the white girl. I'm not knocking him, but where's my check? He can post videos all day if I get a damn check. But the reason I'm bringing this up, because we ain't picking on Snoop, we love our brother, but a lot of y'all ask me, Dr. Umar, you've been raising money for 6 years, why none of the celebrities donated? We know they all know who I am. If Snoop know, they all know. The reason they won't donate because they're too afraid of the backlash from Crackerville for supporting an unapologetically African black man. That's why they haven't donated, brothers and sisters. They scared. I knew one of Puff Daddy engineers. He said, Doc, I went into the office to talk to Puff and said, Puff, you need to meet this guy, Dr. Umar. Puff said, I know him. And then he said, Puff told me that you would get him killed. Damn, Puffy. They scared, brothers and sisters. They don't belong to us. They belong to the corporations. Black celebrities are corporate commodities. Stop looking at them as members of the community. They're not. That's why every time I meet a little boy, a little girl who says, I want to be a football player, athlete, it hurts me because if you make it, I know you will be inducted into the Hall of Fame for coons.
Ray Lewis.
And we got too many already on the wall of coons, brothers and sisters.
Ray Lewis.
Whatever you do, don't die a coon, brothers and sisters. And you got to make sure you don't marry a coon as well. Because a lot of y'all real, but you're so thirsty, you end up settling down with a coon. And you can't reproduce babies with a coon because the baby going to be half coon and half African. And there's no therapy for that shit. Brothers and sisters, this COVID thing is nothing but a screen for population extermination, brothers and sisters. COVID is a scream. They are killing us by the thousands every day. Stay out the hospital if you can help it. If you got to go, you got to go. But if you can help it, stay out and don't let them put you on the ventilators. Thank you. Black folks are going in there with problems they don't even have and coming out dead. I had a cut on my index finger. And now I got COVID. And then they just said yesterday that they got a new strain of COVID. So the vaccination that they got might not be effective for everybody who takes it. And then Bill Gates, who financed the vaccination, exempted his whole family from taking it. Wait a minute now. You telling the whole world to take the COVID shot, but you don't want your sons and daughters to take it. Does that make any sense, brothers and sisters? That ain't nothing but an extermination shot. Let me tell you why they dropped COVID. In 1974, Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, a Rockefeller flunky, produced the National Security Study Memorandum 200. You need to read it. Download it off the internet. NSSM 200. The whole text is online for you to read. It's a population control study that was done by the Rockefellers by way of Henry Kissinger. They said that if we don't control the amount of black people being born, we're going to have trouble controlling this planet and we're going to have trouble raping the resources of Africa. Read it! He named certain African countries by name, and every African country he named ended up with a homosexual problem. Yes, brothers and sisters, the LGBTQ, and don't get me wrong, I love all black folks. I just disagree with that relationship because I know why they're introducing it to our kids in school. Because two boys can't reproduce, neither can two girls. LGBT lifestyle is a birth control pill.
Yes, indeed.
So he puts this out in the 70s. A couple years later, the first documented cases of AIDS popped up. And then Jimmy Carter, a member of the Trilateral Commission, President Carter, he does another study on population. This one is called Global 2000. The world is being overrun by blacks. And we better start introducing some birth control or we're going to have problems controlling this world. Even with our advanced weapons, if the black man outnumber the white man, we're going to have trouble subduing the black man. So they went into Africa paying black women for hysterectomies. They went into Africa, start putting black women through college. Ain't nothing wrong with college sisters, but they did it with the intent of knowing that, according to European studies, that a college-educated woman is likely to have half the kids she would have had if she wasn't college educated. They're not pushing feminism for black women's freedom. They're pushing feminism to reduce the size of the black family. You don't believe me? Study the roots of feminism. Gloria Steinem was a CIA agent. They financed her and invented her. And guess why the CIA gave birth to feminism? According to them, to get the woman out the house so we would have no resistance for the control of the child's mind. Did y'all hear that? Get the woman out the house. Send her to work and to school. So when we start indoctrinating the children, there will be no adults to serve as a filter. I'm not saying that women can't go to college and can't work. I'm saying that we have to work together as a community to make sure there's always adults supervising the children and filtering what they watch. The number one complaint I'm getting from black mothers is what? Now that our kids are on this online school they got, gay porn on the side. So the teacher doing math and he got a second box over here, looking at something he shouldn't be looking at. Biggest problem we got. And I'm glad they made us do the online for one thing only, because a lot of you Negroes was beating me down saying, Dr. Umar, why are you trying to open up a brick and mortar school? Brick and mortar is outdated. We need an online academy. Well, guess what? I told you then and I'm telling you now. Children should be taught by people, not computers. Computers can't hold their attention and teachers on the computer can't hold their attention. I get complaints every day from black teachers and educators. Dr. Umar, you were right. These kids do not like learning on a computer. I don't like teaching on a computer. They can't wait to get out this house and go back to school. Online learning is not the solution for black America.
They knew that shit, so they did.
But y'all had to go through that to see what I've been telling you all along. Stop letting white folks come up with your solutions. The only reason why online learning is so popular is because it's cost efficient. You don't need a school building, you don't need a school bus, you don't need a lunchroom, you don't need a gym. It saves people money. Now show me the research that says it's better than traditional education. Impossible. Education is a socially interactive, dynamic process. It must be done through people, not machines. Now we will have a virtual academy at FDMG for the kids who can't make it there, but our primary platform is in your face. First of all, black kids have to be taught how to get along with each other. You cannot do that if every kid is learning in their own isolated living room. We have a problem with each other that supersedes the problem we got with the damn devil, because most of us are totally peaceful with white folks. But when it comes to other black folks, you turn into stone niggas. Tell me I'm wrong. The black man is only an integrationist with non-black people. The black woman is only an integrationist with non-black people. When it comes to you integrate with other black people, you hate them. You can take the slave out of slavery, but the slave got to take the slavery out of himself. What you need is psychological surgery. And the only person who can do it on you is yourself. And as my ancestor Frederick Douglass said, whose grave I visited last weekend, it's better to raise strong children than to repair broken men. And guess what? Did you know that 56% of black America are under the age of 35? More than half of us are babies. Yes, brothers and sisters, most of us are 35 and under. So guess where I'm going to be focusing my attention on once we get the school up and running? The young ones. Get their minds right before they get polluted with social network. And we spending $4 billion on video games. Come on, y'all. How the hell your son got a video game and a special ed IEP? You can't have those in the same house. You can't read, but you got a video game system. You can't count, but you got a video game system. I always told you that if I was in charge of special ed in America, we wouldn't diagnose the kids, we would diagnose the parents. talking about a learning disability at 5 years old. 5? 5. He just showed up in kindergarten for the first time in his life, and you signing a paper for the white folks to slam him with a diagnosis already. A reading disability at 5. You should be ashamed of your damn self. You do not get children evaluated 7 or younger unless you think they're deaf or blind. You can't prove autism at 5. You can't prove ADHD at 5. Well, ADHD don't even exist, but some of y'all think it does because the white man made you think it. ADHD ain't nothing but alpha male behavior. The problem is the schools are run by women, and women only want to teach female children. And if the boy cannot act like a girl, he's automatically diseased. Wow. Ain't no such thing as conduct disorder. It's Caucasian disorder. They tired of crackers. The black boy can learn as well as any white boy can learn. But the black boy is suffocated by feminine energy 24 hours a day. He got his mother for 16 hours and a white woman for the other 8. He needs a man. Put a man in that class, he'll sit down and never move again.
And learn.
And learn at the same time. So why they don't give all the black boys in New York City black male teachers? Because they got to lay off millions of white females to do that.
Good.
And Joe Biden ain't going to do that because Joe Biden was endorsed by both the National Education Association and the American Federation of Teachers. Joe Biden carried both teachers' unions. So if you think that devil going to do anything for your kids, you'll be waiting the rest of your life. And some of y'all think Kamala Harris going to put on a black Superman suit and start saving black folks when she rarely admits she belongs to us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Looking like a day.
So let me get this right. So let me get this right. Kamala Harris has a chance to become the first female president in American history.
That's why they're right.
And the worst.
The first woman president in American history, she has the chance to be. And y'all think she's going to throw that away to look out for black folks.
No.
See, this is the same type of schizophrenia you had during Barack Obama. The same Jesus Savior complex. Listen to me. There will be no one man saving black folks. It won't happen. Black folks will save themselves. It will be collectivist, it will be coordinated, and it will be all of us. The reason you're so in love with the single savior phenomenon is because you're taught it in church, and outside of church it's politically and emotionally conducive to your ego to believe you don't have to do a damn thing about your own freedom. Just blame it on Dr. Umar if you don't get free soon.
What a bitch.
Tell me I'm wrong. Every day they talking about Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey. Why the school ain't ready yet? Because it take money. I wish it was done in 1 year, but it take money. And then y'all want to compare it to people who don't have schools but call what they got schools. He ain't got a school. That is not a school. Okay? In New York City, you got to be licensed to have an independent school, and you got to have a credential to get licensed. But y'all don't do no research, so anybody pop up and say, I got a school. A school is a legal term. You might have a club, you might got a tutoring center. That is not a school, but y'all don't know no better. And then y'all jump up and say, LeBron James got a school. No, he don't. That is an Akron public school. LeBron don't hire the teachers. He don't make the curriculum. He don't even know what's going on inside of there. And with all due respect, I got too much respect for LeBron James to think he would open a school and put all white teachers inside of it. That ain't his. That's a charter school. Jalen Rose, that's a charter school. Sean Puffy Combs, that's a charter school. And it hurts my heart that black celebrities are opening up charter schools. You got money to own your school. Why are you taking a welfare check from the state? Because you're not invested in our liberation. That's why.
Thank you.
If it goes south, you want to make sure none of your money was tied into it. Are y'all following me, brothers and sisters? It's hard as hell to get the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy up and running. I got the city against me. I got coons against me. I'm trying to use all black contractors, and they trying to take financial advantage of me.
Joe Biden's home state.
It's a fight here, it's a fight there. I got like 5 fights going on to get this school open, brothers and sisters. Half of them I can't tell you about because you'll make the fight worse than what it is.
Niggas don't admit that that's bullshit.
But I got to get it open because every time I look at a black boy, I say, I got to do this for him because I didn't have it. Institutions are the solutions, not voting. If voting could change anything, it would be illegal. You really think the white man stole and killed and robbed to give you the ability to take it all from him every 4 years? Are you crazy?
Facts.
Yes, they are.
Don't no votes change nothing. Why do you think he goes around the world making it safe for democracy? You don't live in a democracy. You live in a white racist aristocracy. It's the rule of rich white folks, and that's all there is to it. And then you keep on electing black folks to public office who can't do nothing for you because they wasn't financed by you. You want to keep us honest? You got to put your money up and keep us honest. No black person who's funded by the Democratic Party is going to be loyal to black folks. The hand that pays is the hand that rules. That's an African problem. Brothers and sisters, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad's memory is something we will teach at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. We can't thank him enough for being the unapologetically African black man that he was. We can't thank him enough for going into the mouth of the lion whenever it was necessary to save a member of our African family. And we cannot let the white man choose our heroes. Too many black folks are defending Dr. Khalid, the white folks. Why are you even discussing him with them?
That's right.
You don't owe them no answer. People ask me, Dr. Umar, why you don't debate some of these white scholars? For what? Now, if they make a donation, I'll debate them. But I have nothing to prove to white folks because anything you prove to white folks, they already knew it. Furthermore, they're not going to do anything about it. White racism is real simple, but it's so confusing to black folks because we've been indoctrinated by religion to believe we must judge everybody on their individual merit. So religion has erased from the African consciousness the knowledge of groupthink, group effort, group strategy, and group domination. Black people don't understand group work because we've never worked together as a group lately. So when somebody tells you all white people are racist, it don't sit well with you. It goes against what you learned in the mosque. It goes against what you learned in the church. What do he mean all white people are racist? You can't say that, Dr. Umar. Yes, I can, because they all are.
Thank you.
Do you know what racism is? Racism is not necessarily racial hatred. Every single white person may not hate you, but every single white person want to control your resources and opportunities.
And have a use for you.
Do you understand the difference? Racism is not about how they feel about you. Racism is about making sure they are in charge of you. Racism is about power and opportunity, nothing else. All your white friends you hang out with, and the white boyfriend and the white girlfriend you got with your nasty self. Okay?
You know it.
Do you not think they don't know they white? Do you not think if something triggered off between their community and yours, they not standing with us? Ain't a white person you know going to side with the blacks. They're going to go with their own people. They're going to go with their own people. And in addition to that, some of us think, well, okay, we can't work with the whites, but we can work with all the other ones. No, you can't. Chinese can't stand you. Arabs can't stand you. Mexicans can't stand you.
Indians can't stand you.
None of them like you, which is why I don't understand why you push multiculturalism. What are you pushing multiculturalism for? Name me a group that has ever went to bat for black people your whole time in America. Give me one.
Not even blacks.
The Native Americans got their casinos and then wrote into their own contracts, their own constitutions for the reservations that got the casinos that no African American, even if you prove that you got some native blood, you cannot lay claim to the wealth of the casinos. Go do your research. And you can't wait to tell somebody how much Cherokee you got in your damn blood. They can't even stand your ass.
That's right.
But that's what happened when you got people who have never been raised on a steady diet of self-love. We've never been taught to love self. We've been taught to love Jesus. We've been taught to love Muhammad. We've never been taught to love ourselves. And that's why we need a new educational paradigm for a new black psychology. The two things what we must start with is education and economics. If you say only two things in the new year, brothers and sisters, we must focus on education. We got to change the way our babies think, because right now they think like y'all, and that's not good. Because you only black 40% of the week. You Caucasian the other 60. We need black kids who are 100% black every day of the week. You wear two costumes. You got a white consciousness and you got a black consciousness, and you switch them on and off as necessary. And that is very damaging to your sense of self and to your cultural identity. And the reason you got to switch off your African consciousness between your European consciousness is because you can't get a job from black folks. We're the only people who do not systematically employ our own. If a teenage kid in Brooklyn need a job, you're going to have hell and high water getting one from a black business. Our people would rather hire non-blacks than our own kids. And thanks to Kamala Harris, y'all going to see an influx of East Indians coming in over the next 10 years like you've never seen before. Kamala Harris was a consolation prize for the government of India, brothers and sisters. She's not in there by happenstance. That was strategy. America's in a Cold War with China. India shares the Asian continent with China. America cannot afford for India to build relationships with China. So we're going to make our vice president an East Indian to beg you into siding with us against China. And in order to do that, they're going to have to let them East Indians run over. See, they used the Mexicans against blacks from 2000 to 2020. And now it's going to be the East Indians against blacks from 2020 to 2040. They always bring in another non-white group to make sure American capitalism is never dependent on black labor. They let the Mexicans over to take the Walmart jobs and all the other jobs that we should not have had to take for what we've done to make this country what it is. The Mexicans was there to make sure you didn't even get a minimum wage job. And now the East Indians are going to come in and do the same, brothers and sisters. As I prepare to wrap this up, I want to say that this decade we in right now is probably the most dangerous decade we've been in since the 60s. They're not trying to bury the black man, they're trying to exterminate the black man and woman. We got to get over this black man versus black woman concept. We need each other. We need each other. We got to stop saying the black man is more important than the black woman and the black woman is more important than the black man. It's all nonsense. We are one, brothers and sisters. God created the universe. God created the universe half masculine and half feminine. Everything has a positive charge and a negative charge. Everything does. For the sun, there's the moon. For water, there's earth. For male, there's female. Those of us who oppose same-sex relations, we oppose it on the grounds that it is universally unhealthy. When you get your car charged, you know that when you charge your car, jumpstart that battery, you better not put the positive with the positive. You're going to get blown away. The positive can only go with the negative. And negative doesn't mean evil or bad. It just means the receiver. The woman is the receiver. She's not negative. She's just the receiver.
Well, that's the white man get to it.
Unless the white man get to it. And black women, stop dating these white men. And black men, stop dating these white girls. You don't even look right with them. It devalues your Africanity. I don't hate them. I go in the airport, if a black man got a white woman, he see Dr. Umar come, he act like he not with, he walk over to McDonald's. You gotta walk in the airport with me one day. It's amazing how people react to me in the airport. It is amazing. It is amazing how they react to me in the airport.
Showtime, it ain't even little pop.
Absolutely. Put it on a show for me. Listen, brother, if that is your coconut queen, so be it. I don't support it. You know that. We're not going to argue about it. Are you having a good day? I can sit down and talk to him. He's still a black man. I can't struggle with him because I know who he go home to. But I can sit down and have a conversation. Brother, you homosexual? All right. I can't struggle with you, but we can still sit down and talk about the game for a few minutes. Sister, you lesbian? I can't get down with that, but I still love you. Sit down. Let's talk. And brothers, if you know, if the right masculine energy charges into that lesbian energy, you will convert her to her African divinity. I've seen it happen. Let the brother with the right swag come up on that lesbian, her ass and start floating in 5 minutes. We just got to bring them back to the consciousness. That's why we got to have black masculinity, brothers. I know being black and masculine is not popular in America. They hate black masculinity. That's why they hated Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. That's why they renounced him on the floor of the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives. I believe he's the first African ever to be renounced in both houses of Congress just for being unapologetically a black man. And we got to raise our boys to be unapologetically alpha, because right now they're conditioning them. If you want to be successful, sixth grader, soften your walk. You want to be successful, eighth grader, soften your tone. Take some of that bass out your voice. Have you noticed most of the successful black men that you see on TV are effeminate? They may not be homosexual, but they have an effeminizing quality to their personality.
Jimmy got a little bit of
And for many of them, it is voluntary, so they don't pose a threat to the white social order.
Wow.
That's why until we build an independent black economy, our children will never be safe from the oppressor, because as long as you got to go to him to pay your bills, everybody in here is a potential coon. Only the person who earns his own money through his own business can say what he wants to say, how he wants to say it, where he wants to. Dr. Khalid was able to do that because he was independent. I'm able to do that because I'm independent. It's tough being independent, but once you taste freedom, you'll never want to give it back. All of y'all out there who have ever started your own business, you might have made less money in your own business than you did working for the devil, but that freedom you tasted of making your own schedule, that freedom you tasted of setting your own price, that freedom you tasted of choosing when you're going to go to work and when you don't want to.
Hey, nothing on the roof like that.
Nothing can make you put that slave chain back around your neck. Brothers and sisters, as I close out, because I don't want to take all the time, I want to personally thank New York City for standing by me with the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy fundraisers. It's been 6 years. It's been a tough 6 years. February 7th will be 2 years since we bought the school. Right now, the electricians are finishing up the work. I'm waiting on a brother to get his HVAC license switched over to Delaware. He's going to do the HVAC for the gym. So at least we can have the small gym up and running, which will give us enough space to do some activities. The small gym is probably about 8 to 10 sizes of the room we in. We can easily get 300 to 500 people in there. We got the bathrooms in there. We got offices in the small gym. We got 4 buildings on that campus, brothers and sisters. Once we get it up and running, we're going to be in good shape. But we still got to get the Frederick Douglass building up and running. That's the big one across the street. So I'm saying if there's any brothers and sisters here who are licensed electricians, come to the school and do a walkthrough for me and tell me what you can do and what you can't do. If you are licensed HVAC, come and do a walkthrough through the school and tell me what you can do and can't do. If you're a licensed plumber, come and do a walkthrough and let me know what you can do and can't do. Because brothers and sisters, we spending every penny we got on the Garvey building, which is the elementary school, which is the smaller school. We ain't going to have no money for that big one, which means I'm going to have to depend on some of y'all to sacrifice and volunteer your skills to get the big school up and running. And the beauty of getting the big school up and running is once we have the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey side of the street up and running, we can hold every conference we want to hold. We will have all the space we need. No more need to go rent from white folks. We will have all the space we need for that International African Women's Conference. All the space we need for that International African Men's Conference. All the space we need for that International African Economics Conference, the Farming Conference, the Holistic Healing Conference, the Black Media Conference. And we need a black media, brothers and sisters. Do you realize we're still dependent on white folks to let us know what's happening with our brothers and sisters in other parts of America or the world? Yeah. You would have never known Breonna Taylor's name if white folks ain't tell you what happened to her. I would have never knew sitting in Philadelphia that Eric Gardner was being choked out if the white man didn't tell me. That's not good. Because that means the white man can be declaring war on black folks in America right now, and there's nothing you could do about it because you don't even know.
George Floyd.
And it hurts my heart, George Floyd included and all the rest of them, but it hurts my heart that we got all these social network pages. And 90% of them is dedicated to gossip, slander, and rumors. Brothers and sisters, the time is so critical right now that every day you have to do something for the benefit of African people, as the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey told us. We have to work together and we got to struggle together. And it is my sincere hope that that school will be ready to receive all of you for our first annual Unapologetically African Family First Festival, right outside the school and inside the school. I want to have a conference in the Garvey building, conference in the Nat Turner Gymnasium, and a street festival this coming summer if we can only get that school done. I need a plumber right now. I need a licensed plumber for the small school right now. My HVAC guy is in motion. I can still use another HVAC guy in case he don't come through. You always got to have a backup plan. But right now, if a plumber came to me right now and said, Doc, I'm licensed in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. I'm going to come and do it. I can't do it for free because I got a family. But I'm going to cut you a 30% discount. We can do it. All they got to do is go down to the city of Wilmington, take their paperwork, get it switched over. Delaware works well with other states. It's easy to get your paperwork switched over. That's how easy it is. Doc, I'm a licensed HVAC. I can't do it for free, but I'm going to cut you a deal. I'm going to go down to Delaware, send my paperwork in. They said it's going to take about 6 weeks. That's how long it takes. I'll be ready for you by the end of Black History Month. I'm going to get your HVAC done. That's it. That's all we need to get up and running. 2 volunteers is the only thing that's standing between us and that school being ready for the festival this summer. It's that easy. When y'all hear me talk about $250,000 for HVAC, that's if I got to pay somebody market value. But if we can use the skills in the community, brothers and sisters, we can erase the $250 if I only had a plumbing volunteer and an HVAC volunteer. And the fact that we've had the school for 2 years as of February 7th is a damn shame that I haven't had those come forth. Now, I had 2 good brothers come forth from New York City. They may be working with me. Okay, 2 really good brothers, they came down. Those are the only 2 volunteers I've ever had to want to lend a hand so we can get the school ready for our boys. And then, once we get the boys' school ready, we're going to open up the girls' school too. We're not going to leave them out. We just start with the boys first because the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Okay, girls are catching hell too, but nobody's catching hell like the boys. Special ed is almost exclusively male. ADHD is almost exclusively male. Expulsion is almost exclusively male. Ritalin, Adderall, Concerta, Metadate, Cyclone, Risperdal, Depakote, Prozac, and Paxil. All these medications they're giving our children are almost exclusively male. So I've got to save the black boy first. But once I'm done with him, I will come back and save the girl. The other thing we need to do, brothers and sisters, once the school is up and running, I'm going to rebirth my organization, Team Pan-African. For those of you who are Pan-Africanists and want to do some serious Pan-Africanist work. And I'm going to tell you right now, I already got land that's been gifted to me over in Africa in different countries. One of the largest places is Ghana. We're going to finance some settlers, some African repatriates to go over there because we're going to build FDMG Africa. And when we build FDMG Africa, I'm going to need brothers and sisters in Africa to look out for the school as it's being constructed. But that will only come if you belong to the movement of Team Pan-African. And we're going to rebirth the National Independent Black Parent Association. Because FDMG won't be big enough for everybody to attend. So we have to help our parents protect their kids where they are right now in the 5 boroughs. We got to fight against special ed, school discipline, school policy, school finance, social support, homeschooling, and parent advocacy. Those are the 7 areas that we target. Mr. Garvey told us the greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization. Y'all think it was misinformation. You're wrong. Because look how smart we are. Look at how well learned the black conscious community is, and we haven't changed a damn thing. And I just want to say this for the record, because everybody talks about when is the school and when is the school and when is the school. Let us not forget that nobody has saved more black boys from the school to prison pipeline than the man you're looking at in this country. Let us not forget nobody has educated more black parents against special ed and ADHD and medication than the man you're looking at in this country. Let us not forget that even if I never built a school a day in my life, I've done more for black boys than probably anybody you can name, including half our ancestors. And I'm saying that because I don't want you to reduce me to no school. I have done too much. I have saved too many children. I have helped too many parents, and I have stopped too many people from suicides for you to reduce me to a building. Ashe? As I close, I give you a quote. The most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, without confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. The Honorable Frederick Douglass said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and depreciate agitation are like men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain, but can't stand the thunder or the lightning. They want the ocean, but can't stand with the awful roar of the waves. Frederick Douglass said, a man will pity you, but he cannot respect you at the same time. So you have to choose if you want to be respected by white people or pitied by white people. Frederick said, for 20 years, I prayed on my knees to God for freedom, but the good Lord gave Frederick no freedom until I got up off my knees and started praying with my feet. He said, the limits of tyrants is prescribed by the people who they oppress. We determine how poorly the oppressor treats us. He said, but most of all, remember, power concedes nothing without a demand it never did, and it never will. I'll give you a little story really quickly. Booker T. Washington, who convened the International Conference for the Negro at Tuskegee before Marcus Garvey even came to America. Some of y'all thought Garvey wanted to meet Booker T just because he wanted to start at Tuskegee in Jamaica. No, Garvey wanted to meet Booker T because Booker T was a Pan-Africanist himself. When Booker T. Washington was accepted at Hampton University, after graduating, he served as a night school teacher. The white principal at the Hampton Institute of Virginia got a phone call from Tuskegee, Alabama. The brothers and sisters said, we need somebody to come down here and teach our people how to make a living. Booker T took the job, gets to Tuskegee, there's no school. There's no building. He had to use an old church, an old barn, that's where the first classes was at. And then when the students came in at Tuskegee, he made them roll up their sleeves and build their own schools. They had to make their own clothes, cook their own food. This is the man who motivated Marcus Garvey to build the greatest black organization in modern history. And then Booker T said, I need a science teacher. You heard of a black man by the name of George Washington Carver. The first of his race to get a PhD in agricultural science, Iowa University or Iowa State. Booker T tells Carver, I need you. At the time, Dr. George Washington Carver was being offered million-dollar contracts by engineering firms. Everybody wanted Carver to work with him, including Henry Ford, because he was a master. Carver turned it down, went to Tuskegee. He gets to Tuskegee and he asks Booker T, where's my science lab? Where's my office? Where's my lecture hall? Booker T said, George, all we got is what you see. And that black man, born into slavery, castrated as a child by white folks, never had children. That's why his voice was so high-pitched, because they castrated him. Never complained. Never cashed a check a day in his life at Tuskegee. Refused to accept pay. When Booker T said he had nothing for him, George Washington Carver went to the trash dump of the students of Tuskegee Institute and took out trash, copper, plastic, metal, tin, garbage. And from garbage, gave us over 300 products from the sweet potato. From garbage, gave us over 200 products from the peanut. From garbage, gave us hundreds of products from the soybean. Brothers and sisters, the point of this message is, we are not where we are because of a lack of resources. We are where we are because of a lack of organization. We are where we are because we let the Chinese out-organize us, and we let the white man out-organize us. We let the Jew out-organize us. You let the East Indian, the Mexican, the Latino out-organize you. And as Marcus Garvey said, the future belongs to those who prepare for it. If we keep on letting these other people out-organize us, we're going to be exterminated. They'll start in America and then they'll move around. We're the easiest to get rid of because we're less than 25%. And then they'll gradually go around the planet. Brothers and sisters, the whole African family is looking at us for a solution because they've always looked towards us because of our revolutionary history. That could be a good thing, but it could be a bad thing because if all we want to do is watch TikTok and post memes, then where will be the future of black people? As I leave you, brothers and sisters, I leave you with the words of Queen Mother Harriet Tubman, who said, I freed hundreds. I was at her grave last week too. I don't go to Frederick unless I go to Harriet. I don't go to Harriet unless I go to Frederick. And by the way, I'm working on the Black College and Consciousness Tour for this coming spring and summer. So if you got 11 to 17-year-old boys and girls, they'll be able to go with Dr. Umar for 2 weeks for the Black College and Consciousness Tour. Then I'm going to do one for the adults. You all will be able to go there as well. Queen Mother Harriet said, I freed hundreds of slaves. I could have freed thousands more. Problem was, they didn't even know they were slaves. Black power, brothers and sisters. Black power, Queen Mother Yah. Black power.